Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're a parent navigating the wonderful, whirlwind world of toddlers, you know exactly what I mean when I say some days feel like a beautiful mess, right? One minute they're insisting, "Me do it," with fierce determination, and the next, they might dissolve into tears because their sock feels funny. Have you ever found yourself in that morning rush, desperately trying to get out the door, and you end up just doing everything for them? Pulling on their shirt, buckling their shoes, even spooning cereal into their mouth just to speed things up? Or maybe you see them struggling with a toy, that little furrow in their brow, and your immediate instinct is to jump in and fix it for them. I know I've been there. We do it out of love, out of efficiency, sometimes out of sheer exhaustion. We want to help our little ones, protect them from frustration, and honestly, sometimes it just feels easier. But what if I told you that some of these helpful habits, these moments where we swoop in to make things smoother, might actually be holding our toddlers back? What if these well-intentioned actions are inadvertently teaching them to rely on us for things they could be learning to do themselves? It's a tricky balance, isn't it? We want to be supportive and nurturing, but we also dream of raising capable, confident, independent little humans who can tackle challenges and feel good about their own abilities. That feeling of accomplishment is so important for their development, for building their self-esteem brick by tiny brick. When we constantly step in, we might be robbing them of those crucial learning opportunities, those little moments of "I did it," that mean the world to a toddler. Raising independent kids isn't about pushing them away or expecting them to handle things beyond their capabilities. It's about finding that sweet spot, providing support while intentionally stepping back just enough to let them try, to let them learn, to let them discover their own strength and resourcefulness. It's about shifting our perspective from doing for them to empowering them. And trust me, fostering this independence early on doesn't just make life a little easier for you down the road, although that's a nice bonus. It equips your child with essential life skills, resilience, and a deep sense of self-worth that will benefit them for years to come. So, in this video, we're going to dive deep into 5 common things that many of us parents do for our toddlers, often without even realizing the long-term impact. We'll explore why stepping back in these specific areas is so crucial for their growth, and most importantly, we'll talk about practical, gentle ways to shift these habits. We're not talking about massive overhauls or adding more stress to your plate. These are small, manageable adjustments you can start incorporating today, simple secrets to nurturing that budding independence in your little one. We'll look at effective parenting methods that encourage self-reliance, key signs that show your child might be ready for more independence, and plenty of relatable examples along the way. Are you ready to unlock some secrets to raising truly independent kids? Amazing! Let's start with the first habit many of us fall into, especially during those hectic mornings. The first thing we need to consider letting go of is dressing them completely, every single time. Think about it, the morning routine. You're trying to get everyone fed, dressed, and out the door. Your toddler might be dawdling, easily distracted, or maybe just not cooperating. It feels so much faster to just grab the clothes and put them on your child, right? Pull the shirt over their head, guide their arms through, zip the zipper, snap the snaps. Done. But what happens when we do this day after day? We miss countless opportunities for them to practice essential skills. Getting dressed involves fine motor skills, think manipulating buttons, zippers, pulling up pants. It involves gross motor skills, balancing while stepping into trousers, lifting arms. It teaches body awareness, knowing where their arms and legs go. And perhaps most importantly, it gives them a sense of autonomy and accomplishment. Imagine your little one struggling to get their arm into a sleeve. It's tempting to just grab their hand and guide it through. But what if, instead, you paused? What if you offered a little verbal guidance, like, "Where does your arm go? Can you find the hole?" Or maybe you just help them get started, getting the cuff over their hand, and then let them try to pull the rest of the way. Even if they only manage one small part of the task, like pulling up their elastic waist pants after you've helped get their feet in, that's a victory. Celebrate it. Wow, you pulled your pants up all by yourself. That positive reinforcement builds their confidence and encourages them to try again next time. Of course, This requires patience and often a little extra time built into the routine. Maybe you lay out clothes the night before. Maybe you start the getting dressed process 10 minutes earlier. Start small. Maybe today, they just try to pull off their own socks at bedtime. Maybe tomorrow, they try putting on their hat. Focus on clothes that are easier for them to manage initially: loose-fitting shirts, pants with elastic waistbands, slip-on shoes. Break the task down. Instead of get dressed, try "Can you put your legs in your pants?" followed by "Can you try to pull them up?" It's about progress, not perfection. Allowing them to participate in dressing themselves, even partially, sends a powerful message: I trust you. I know you can learn this. Your efforts matter. It shifts the dynamic from you doing to them, to you guiding them as they learn to do for themselves. This small change can make a surprisingly big difference in fostering their sense of capability. Now, closely related to the morning rush and our instinct to help, let's talk about mealtimes. The second thing we might want to reconsider is feeding them every single bite. Oh, the mess. I know. The thought of yogurt in their hair, spaghetti sauce on the walls, peas rolling across the floor, it's enough to make any parent twitch. It feels cleaner, faster, and ensures they actually eat a decent amount if we just take the spoon or fork and pop the food right into their mouths. Especially when they're small, or when they seem more interested in playing with their food than eating it. But just like with dressing, constantly feeding your toddler bypasses critical developmental opportunities. Learning to self-feed is a huge milestone. It involves developing hand-eye coordination. Getting that spoon from the bowl to their mouth isn't as easy as it looks. It refines fine motor skills, gripping the utensil, scooping the food. It also allows them to explore food textures, temperatures, and tastes at their own pace, which can be incredibly important for developing healthy eating habits and reducing pickiness later on. When a child has control over what goes into their mouth and how quickly, they're also learning to listen to their own hunger and fullness cues, a vital skill for life. Constantly overriding their pace or preferences by feeding them ourselves can interfere with this natural process. So, how do we navigate this potentially messy transition? Again, start small and manage expectations. Embrace the mess, within reason. Invest in a good bib, maybe one with a catcher pocket, put a wipeable mat under the high chair, and take a deep breath. Offer foods that are easier for them to manage initially. Finger foods are fantastic: small pieces of soft fruit, cooked vegetables, cheese cubes, toast strips. When introducing utensils, opt for toddler-friendly ones, short handles, chunky grips. Preload the spoon for them and let them guide it to their mouth. Yes, some will end up on the floor, some on their face. That's part of the learning process. Focus on participation, not perfection. If they only manage a few bites themselves before getting frustrated or tired, that's okay. You can assist them with the rest, but make sure you're giving them ample opportunity to try first. Think of it as a sensory experience too. Letting them touch their food, squish it between their fingers, yes, even the messy stuff, is part of how they learn about the world. Instead of seeing it purely as mess-making, try to see it as exploration. Of course, there are boundaries. We don't encourage throwing food across the room. But allowing them the space to experiment with self-feeding, celebrating their attempts, you got the spoon to your mouth. Good job, fosters independence and a positive relationship with food. It tells them you trust their ability to learn and grow, even if it means a little extra cleanup for you in the short term. The skills and confidence they gain are well worth a few spills. Now that we've tackled the independence hurdles in dressing and eating, let's move on to another area where our helpful instincts often take over, sometimes without us even noticing the learning opportunity slipping by. Alright, so we've talked about letting our toddlers take more ownership in getting dressed and feeding themselves, even with the extra time and mess that might involve initially. Building on that theme of allowing them to participate and learn through doing, the third thing we should try to stop doing is cleaning up all their messes for them. Picture this: you walk into the living room, and it looks like a toy tornado hit. Blocks are everywhere, puzzle pieces are scattered, stuffed animals have staged a coup on the sofa. Your first instinct might be to sigh, maybe grumble a little under your breath, and then just start tidying it all up yourself because it's faster and you know exactly where everything goes. Or maybe your toddler spills their drink, and you immediately rush over with a cloth, shooing them away while you handle it. Again, it comes from a place of wanting order, efficiency, and perhaps preventing a bigger mess. But when we consistently clean up for them, what are we teaching them? We might inadvertently be teaching them that someone else will always take care of the aftermath of their actions, that responsibility isn't really theirs. Involving toddlers in cleanup, even from a very young age, is fundamental to teaching responsibility, respect for their belongings and space, and the natural consequence that play is followed by tidying. It's also a fantastic way to practice sorting, categorizing, putting all the blocks in one bin, all the cars in another, and following simple directions. It fosters a sense of teamwork and contribution to the household. Now, obviously, we aren't expecting a 2-year-old to perfectly tidy a chaotic room on their own. That would be overwhelming and unrealistic. The key is age-appropriate involvement and making it manageable, maybe even fun. How can we do this effectively? Start super simple. If they spill a few drops of water, hand them a small cloth and say, "Uh-oh, spill. Let's wipe it up together." Guide their hand if needed initially. When it's time to clean up toys, make it a collaborative effort. Instead of saying, "Clean up your toys," which can sound daunting, be specific and break it down. "Let's put all the red blocks in the basket first," or "Can you find all the fluffy animals and put them to bed on the shelf?" Turn it into a game. "How fast can we put these puzzle pieces away?" Or "I bet I can put away 5 cars before you can." Sing a cleanup song. Kids often respond really well to musical cues. Timing is also important. Give a 5-minute warning before cleanup time starts, so it doesn't feel abrupt. And integrate it into the routine. We clean up before lunch, we clean up before bath time, etc. Consistency is key here. If sometimes you clean up for them and sometimes you expect them to help, the message gets confusing. Make participation in cleanup a regular, expected part of the day. And just like with dressing and eating, praise the effort, not just the result. "Thank you for helping put the books away. That was great teamwork." Even if they only put away 3 blocks while you handled the rest, acknowledge their contribution. It reinforces the behavior and makes them feel like a valued helper. By involving them in the cleanup process, we're not just getting a slightly tidier house, we're instilling crucial life skills like responsibility, cooperation, and respect for their environment. We're showing them that actions have consequences, play leads to cleanup, and that they are capable contributors to the family. It's a shift from rescuing them from the mess to guiding them through managing it. Now, moving from tangible messes to more emotional or situational ones, let's tackle the 4th habit: stop solving all their small problems instantly. This one can feel counterintuitive. Our protective instincts are powerful. When we see our toddler struggling, getting frustrated because their block tower keeps falling, or they can't quite figure out how to get the shape into the right hole in the sorter, or maybe their toy car gets stuck under the sofa, our impulse is often to jump right in and fix it. We want to alleviate their distress, make things easy for them, and show them the right way. While helping is sometimes necessary and absolutely part of parenting, constantly rushing in to solve every minor hiccup prevents them from developing crucial problem-solving skills and frustration tolerance. Life is full of little challenges, and learning how to navigate them, how to persist through frustration, and how to think creatively to find solutions are incredibly important skills. Toddlerhood is the perfect training ground for this, in a safe and supported environment. When that block tower falls, and they let out a frustrated cry, instead of immediately rebuilding it for them, try waiting a beat. Observe. See if they try again on their own. You could offer empathy and verbal support. "Oh, that's frustrating. The tower fell down." You might offer a small suggestion, not the full solution. Maybe try putting the big block on the bottom, or simply encourage them, "You can try again." This pause, this space you create, allows them to experience the frustration, process it, and potentially figure out a solution themselves, or at least attempt to. That attempt is where the learning happens. Think about the message we send when we let them struggle just a little bit, within safe limits. Of course, we're not talking about letting them deal with anything dangerous or truly overwhelming. We're communicating, I see you're having a hard time, and that's okay. I trust that you might be able to figure this out. I'm here if you need me, but I believe in your ability to try. This builds resilience. It teaches them that frustration isn't the end of the world, it's a signal to try a different approach. When they do manage to solve the problem on their own, get the shape in the hole, retrieve the car, build a slightly more stable tower, the sense of pride and accomplishment they feel is immense. It's far more powerful than the temporary relief of having mom or dad fix it for them. Of course, there's a balance. We don't want them to reach a point of complete meltdown or give up entirely. Gauge their frustration level. If they're getting truly overwhelmed, you can step in more directly, perhaps modeling how you might solve it, talking through your thought process. This car is stuck. Maybe if I try wiggling it this way. Or maybe I need something long and thin to reach it. You're still teaching problem solving, but collaboratively. The key is to resist the urge to instantly fix every little thing. Give them a chance first. Let them wrestle with those small, safe challenges. You're not just helping them build block towers, you're helping them build the foundations of perseverance and critical thinking. These are skills that will serve them far beyond the playroom. Allowing them to navigate minor struggles empowers them to become more capable and resourceful individuals. Building on this idea of letting them find their own way, there's another area where our tendency to step in can inadvertently silence our little ones. So, we've explored the importance of stepping back during dressing, mealtimes, cleanup, and those moments of minor problem solving, all in the service of nurturing our toddlers' budding independence and capability. This brings us to our fifth and final thing to consider: stopping, answering for them when others ask them questions. Have you ever been in this situation? You're at a family gathering, or maybe just chatting with a neighbor, and someone kindly turns to your toddler and asks, "What's your name?" or "How old are you?" or "Did you have fun at the park?" And before your little one can even process the question, let alone formulate an answer, which might just be a shy look or pointing, you jump in, "His name is Leo," or "She's 2.5, or "Yes, she loved the swings." We often do this automatically, perhaps to be polite, to speed up the interaction, or maybe because we worry our child will be too shy or won't answer correctly. But every time we answer for them, we subtly undermine their opportunity to practice communication, to gain confidence in social situations, and to feel that their own voice matters. Even if your toddler isn't speaking in full sentences yet, or if they tend to be shy around new people, there are ways to encourage them to respond for themselves. The most crucial first step is simply to wait. Give them processing time. It might feel like an eternity in a social setting, but resist the urge to fill the silence immediately. Look at your child expectantly, maybe give them an encouraging smile. If they still don't respond, you can try rephrasing the question in simpler terms they understand. "Can you tell Grandma your name?" Or prompt them gently, "How many fingers for how old you are?" If they point to themselves, or hold up 2 fingers, or even just make eye contact with the person who asked, acknowledge that as their response. Leo is showing you he's 2. You're validating their attempt at communication, whatever form it takes. If they are verbal but shy, you could whisper the answer to them first and encourage them to say it out loud. You can tell Aunt Sarah, "Leo." Celebrate any effort they make. If they do answer, even if it's quiet or mumbled, praise them later. "I loved how you told Grandpa your name." This reinforces the behavior and builds their confidence for next time. If they genuinely don't want to answer, forcing them usually isn't productive. You could say something like, "Leo is feeling a little quiet right now," acknowledging their feelings while still not directly answering for them about the original question's content if possible. The goal isn't necessarily to get a perfect verbal answer every time, but to create the space and expectation for them to be the one to respond. It teaches them valuable social skills, listening, processing, responding, and reinforces the idea that their thoughts, feelings, and words are important and deserve to be heard. By consistently giving them the chance to speak for themselves, even in these small interactions, we empower them to find and use their own voice. So, there we have it, 5 seemingly small habits that can have a big impact on fostering independence, letting them participate in dressing, encouraging self-feeding, involving them in cleanup, allowing them to tackle small problems, and giving them space to answer for themselves. It really boils down to a shift in our approach, doesn't it? Moving from being the constant doer and fixer to being the supportive guide and patient facilitator. It's about recognizing those countless teachable moments hidden in our everyday routines and intentionally using them to empower our children. It's about trusting their innate drive to learn and grow, and providing the environment where they can safely practice these emerging skills. Remember, this isn't about achieving perfection overnight, either for you or your toddler. There will still be mornings when you do need to quickly dress them to get out the door on time. There will be meals where you assist more just to ensure they get enough nourishment. There will be times you step in to solve a problem before frustration boils over. That's okay. Parenting is about flexibility and adapting to the situation. The key is the overall pattern, the intention behind our actions. Are we generally creating opportunities for independence? Are we celebrating their efforts, however small? Are we patiently guiding them rather than habitually doing for them? Making these subtle shifts might require a little more time up front, a bit more patience, maybe even navigating a few more messes or minor frustrations. But the payoff is enormous. You're not just raising a toddler who can put on their own shoes or clean up their blocks. You're nurturing a child who feels capable, confident, and resilient. You're laying the groundwork for a future adult who knows how to tackle challenges, take responsibility, and believe in their own abilities. These small changes you make today are investments in their future independence and self-esteem. Trust the process, trust your child, and trust yourself. You're already doing an amazing job just by being here, wanting to learn and grow as a parent. What do you think? Do any of these habits resonate with you? Are there other things you've consciously stopped doing for your toddler to encourage their independence? I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Sharing our journeys helps us all learn and feel less alone in this parenting adventure. And if you found this video helpful or inspiring, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps support the channel. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more parenting tips and encouragement. Remember, small, consistent steps make a huge difference. You've got this. Keep nurturing that incredible potential in your little one independent step at a time. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.